Good, but not great. It's a tough spot to be in the NBA. A spot Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers know all too well. Don't get me wrong, they've been exciting.
Lillard, long-range three, and it's good! At the buzzer! Damian Lillard!
An incredibly potent offense with one of the league's best backcourts. But returning to the franchise's glory days of the late 70s is something that's eluded the Blazers throughout the time Lillard and CJ McCollum have been running the show. Portland has made the playoffs 7 out of 8 seasons since Lillard entered the league, but with little to show for it. 4 first-round exits, and a sweep in their only Western Conference Finals appearance. Entering year 9 for Dame, the West is only getting more competitive, and the window appears to be closing on Portland's chance to contend for a title with its current core. So what gives? Can Lillard and company finally figure it out? And is this season their last chance at proving they can, in fact, be great? When the Blazers advanced to the West Finals in 2019, it felt as though they'd finally turned the corner to becoming a real contender. But a year later, the injury bug bit hard. In fact, the Blazers were one of the most injury-riddled teams in the league last season, ranking 3rd in total man games lost at 260. Despite that, the Blazers somehow managed to salvage the second longest active playoff streak in the league, mainly because of the phenomenal play of Lillard. They went 6-2 in the bubble, and Dame was named the unanimous bubble MVP after averaging over 37 points and 9 assists in 8 seeding games.
Second chance points favoring Portland. Balance shot. My goodness, what a beauty right there by Lillard.
They even managed to put a slight scare into the eventual champion Lakers by stealing Game 1. But surely enough, another postseason, another first-round exit. The truth is Dame and CJ were carrying too much of the load. They were 1st and 3rd respectively in minutes played per game, and there's no doubt that tired legs became a factor. Last season, Portland was one of the most dynamic but fundamentally flawed teams in the NBA. They boasted the 3rd best offense, but were also a bottom 5 defense. Only the Hawks, Wizards, and Cavs surrendered more points per 100 possessions. And there's really no path to a title if that's the case. Every champion in the past 15 years has boasted, at a minimum, a top 11 offense and defense. In the 7 seasons Lillard and McCollum have been playing together, the Blazers have only achieved that feat once. It wasn't just last season that they couldn't guard anyone either. It's been a recurring problem. So Portland's front office went to work this offseason, at Dame's request.
Let's really make a run for it. Let's go for it. Let's not, be the organization that says, oh, we made the playoffs this many years in a row. We've got a good culture. We've got this, let's put ourselves out there and, try to do whatever we can do to give ourselves a real shot. Let's try to bring that glory back to Portland.
They virtually stole former first-team All-Defense Robert Covington from the Rockets, only giving up 2 future second-round picks. They re-signed Rodney Hood and added a freak athlete in Derrick Jones Jr., plus promising big man Harry Giles. Covington can help space the floor for Lillard and McCollum to operate in the half court, and he's among the better help side defenders in the NBA. In Covington's short stint with the Rockets, the team's defensive rating improved to 106 with him on the court versus 112 with him off. The Blazers also re-signed Melo, but we know defense isn't really his thing.
That was uncalled for, I'm sorry.
Covington, Hood, Jones Jr., and Giles, along with Yusuf Nurkic and Gary Trent Jr., hopefully give the team enough defensive chops to at least be a middle-of-the-pack team on that end of the floor. And they should be healthy again when the league tips back off before Christmas. But the pressure is on for them to win, and win now. Dame is 30, McCollum's 29, and the Blazers have committed over $414 million to those two over the next 4 seasons. If 3/4 of your team's salary is going to 2 players, they better be the right guys. But if the new-look Blazers still aren't legitimate contenders in the log-jammed Western Conference, what other solutions does the organization have? It's not like Portland has a reputation as a hot free agent destination. Could they be forced to break up the duo that served Portland so well for 7 straight seasons? McCollum probably doesn't have the trade value to compel a team to part ways with a disgruntled superstar like, say, James Harden. It's unclear what kind of market there is out there for a solidly efficient, score-first guard who at best is still subpar on defense. Kevin Love, Blake Griffin, and Aaron Gordon have been floated around as potential trade options for the Blazers. But do any of those guys really put Portland on par with the Lakers or Clippers? Could McCollum be enough to buy low on a guy like Victor Oladipo? Maybe. The most likely route might be trading McCollum for prospects and draft picks. But how would that sit with Lillard, who time and again has expressed his loyalty to the franchise? With John Wall now a Rocket, Steph Curry and Udonis Haslem are the only active players who've been with their respective teams for at least 10 seasons. Would Dame be okay with going his entire career, or at least his prime, without even one finals trip? Or will he become the next superstar who eventually requests a trade? The tides in the NBA are always changing. Contenders are constantly being built and dismantled. Just look at the Rockets. Who would have thought the Westbrook-Harden tandem would lead to Westbrook being traded after only 1 season and Harden doing everything he possibly can to get out of town? That's why the good but not great teams are almost always forced to make a win-now move. It paid off for the Raptors in 2019 after they traded their franchise cornerstone for a 1-year rental of Kawhi Leonard. But for the Rockets, not so much. For Portland, it all comes down to this season. The front office has attempted to solve its biggest deficiency and doesn't have many obvious ways to further improve the current core. Crazier things have happened. Timing is everything in this league, and one surprise injury to a West powerhouse or a major deadline deal might help push the Blazers over the hump. For now, until proven otherwise, they remain good, but not great. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.